Good morning and God bless. Welcome back to the Daily Bread Podcast. For today's episode, I wanted to give like a rema that I understood here in the Retiro de Verano in Guatemala from Apostle Billy's preaching and Apostle Samuel Diaz. And the first one I want to speak about was Apostle Billy. Apostle Billy Bunster, he spoke about what is power without character. And the main verse he used was Matthew 7 verses 22 to 23. And if you haven't heard it before, the verse says, "Many will say unto me on that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not casted out demons in your name and done miracles?" And Jesus says, and I will respond to them, "I have never known you. Depart from me, you doers of lawlessness," or you doers of evil. And what he was mostly saying, Apostle Billy, is he was preaching about like, you may have all these abilities that God gave you, but if you have character, you essentially have nothing. And to me, it really stood out to me because I was like, wow, like how many of us has God given us abilities, but we haven't gone through the process of changing. We haven't gone through the process of building character in God. And one thing that he said that really stuck to me, and I was like, wow, like this is so important, is that like many people want the ability, many people want the blessing, but they don't want to be changed. They don't want to put the work through it. And I think you can like put that in everything in life. Like if you want something, you have to work towards it. It's not always going to be given to you. I'm sure you may have heard these phrases. If you ask God for patience, He's going to give you opportunities to be patient. If you ask God for joy, He's going to give you opportunities to show joy in a dark time. And this is something besides that, one thing I really wanted to touch about is like our works are not what saves us. Like you can prophesy, you can preach, you can be the best preacher or prophet in the world, but by no means does that mean you're saved. By no means does that mean you are definitely going to heaven. And to some extent, that's scary because there's going to be people who do miracles, people who cast out demons, who do all these great things for God, but they never knew God. And you may think like, how is that even possible? And it's just a matter of like having a real relationship with God. I can do all these things in the name of Jesus, but if I don't have a relationship with Jesus, it means nothing. Because at the end of the day, I won't be with Christ on the day that He comes to take us. And he spoke about what is power versus character, and he gave a lot of these examples. And one of them is Saul and David. King Saul had the power. He was the king of Israel. He had all this power over him, and he was supposed to represent Christ for the people of Israel, but he didn't have character. But somebody who did was David. They looked at his heart. God saw him and He said, I want him. He has a heart conformed to me. He has character. Saul, he had the ability, he had the power. And even says in the Bible, they looked on his appearance. They said that he was tall, that he was strong. But David, nobody looked at his appearance. They were like, this guy, he's with the sheep, he's worth nothing. But it was character that what he looked at. And that's such an important thing. And another person, Joseph went through so many difficult things. Joseph is I love to think about Joseph in the Bible and speak about him because like there's so many things you can think about with Joseph: forgiveness, love, character. He had character. God gave him ability and power, and he was formed. He was formed with character. Because Joseph went through a process. Did Joseph get all this power immediately? Not at all. But he was formed. His character was built, and then it was given to him. And Apostle Billy, he spoke about 7 things that have to do with character, and I want to read some of them. The first one: power can be conducted, but character needs to be formed. Second one: power impacts others, but character pleases God. And let me just speak about that one for a little bit. That one is so important. Like whatever you do, you could play an instrument, you could sing, you could preach, you could prophesy, you could have visions, you could be seen as the most Christian person, but without character, it's nothing. There's no point. It's like putting on just a show. You think you're this person in your mind, but you're not. And this really has to do with like, where is your relationship with God? Like I said, 1 Samuel 16:7, they looked at appearances and not the heart, which is why they chose Saul. Saul was chosen on appearance. They saw him and they said he would be a good king. But what really matters is character. And one thing that he also said, Apostle Billy, he said, power without proper use is abuse. And I found that really important. Because it's like, yeah, that's true. How many of us, like when God gives us power, ability, or authority, because we don't have a true character, we use it in the wrong way. Like if God has given you the ability to minister to others, if we don't have proper character and know how to minister, we're going to do it wrong. which is why our character needs to be formed. And Joseph, another thing he said was that characters form when nobody sees. And one definition I heard of character is that character is what you do when nobody's watching. When nobody's around you, that's when you're true self, because you're not afraid of what anybody will think about you. That's something that's very important. Joseph, he was alone in a prison, and that's when he was built to his character. And when after his character was built, God gave him his power. But a lot of the times, how many times has God given us power and we don't form character? If you want something in God, like if you want, like, oh, I want to be a great preacher, I want to be a pastor, I want to be a prophet, you need to build your character and understand who God is as well. Because at the end of the day, your works are not what saves you. Another thing I want to speak about, Apostle Samuel Diaz's preaching, and he spoke about God, a God of opportunities, and he said a lot of things which are very. The preaching was very great. I recommend you listen to all of the preachings, and in this one, he said like every opportunity we have, or sorry, everything God has given us is an opportunity. But what I mostly want to talk about is that he spoke a lot of the preachings a lot of the preachings were also about like the times that we're living in now. And of course we know like Christ is coming soon. And in this time that we live in now, we're living in a time of grace. We're living in a period of grace where God is showing forgiveness to us. But just because we live in that period of grace is no excuse for me to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go sin. I'm gonna do whatever I want because I know God will forgive me. And and you know when I got everything right, then I become right with God, and then I'm gonna say sorry. And then I'm truly turn to Christ. And you know what? If you have that mindset, that's something you need to change. That's not a good mindset. Come to Christ now. There's a lot of people have this mentality that like, no, when I get right, then I'm gonna come to church and I must come to God because I can't let God see me where I am now. But the church is not a place for perfect people. The church is not a place where people are just all holy and perfect. A church is a place for people who are sick, people who need God. Yes, people go there to get better, and we hope to become perfect one day, but by no means does that mean if you're not perfect you can't come to church, because nobody's perfect. And in this time of grace that we live in now, this period of grace before God comes, take this as an opportunity to get right with God. And if you go to church as well and you don't have character and you need a real relationship with God, take this opportunity now, because there will be a time when God will come and there's not going to be an opportunity anymore. Because when God comes for his church, he's coming for the true worshipers in spirit and in truth. People who have a relationship with him, people that he knows, people who have searched for him. By no means you need to be perfect to go to heaven. That's why Jesus Christ has to die on the cross. We couldn't be perfect, so Jesus came to complete the law of Moses, and he died on the cross for us, and he gave us this period of grace, and this time is running out. This time is truly coming to an end. God is coming so soon. It's crazy to think about. And sometimes it's scary, you know? This is why we need to get right with God. And if you aren't, find God. By no means is God going to push you away because you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I sin all the time. But that's no reason for me not to try. That's no reason for me to give up. That's no reason for me not to run to God. God says, come to me, who are tired, who are weak, give me your burden. He doesn't say come to me when you're right. Come to me when you're perfect. Come to me when you're not going to sin anymore. That's not what he says. And I really want to talk about these two things. And in conclusion, like, if you want an ability from God, build your character. And if you have power and you see like, wow, God, I need to change these things, then form your character. Make sure you have a right character with God. Make sure you have a true relationship with God. And make sure you take advantage of this time of grace, because there will be a time when it's all over. Just because God is graceful doesn't mean you can take advantage of him. And when I say take advantage, I mean like, let me sin because I know God's going to forgive me. Because God's not going to forgive that. Like, your heart is not truly trying to ask for forgiveness. I can't forgive that. You're not asking for forgiveness. You're just doing it just to do it. I could say anything, but if I don't mean it, what is it worth? Because then it's just a lie. And that was the podcast. I hope you guys understood. I recommend you guys hear the whole preaching. I did not give a summary of both preachings, of course. I gave like a rema that I got, something that I wanted to speak about to the podcast. I recommend you guys listen to all of them. They were very great, all of them. And even there's still going to be even more on today. I'm recording on Friday, but I recommend you listen to all of it. God bless you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.